Hello and welcome again to another episode of the Husky Introvert Believer. This is the said Husky Introvert Believer himself, Ariel. Hoping you've had a good time and apologies for not popping up on the regular scheduled time. Things happen this week, let's just say. Hopefully, I get to talk about it soon. Meantime, I just got to keep my mouth shut and not elaborate. But I'm hoping that everybody is well. I'm hoping that everybody has had a good weekend, good week, and you know that everything is going well. Everything is okay here on this side. We still going through it, still persevering, and that's all you can do at this point. Just persevere because why abandon something when you're halfway there? You know, if you're already halfway through doing something and then all of a sudden you decide like, you know what, I quit. I don't, I tend not to judge people and condemn them and look at them and say, oh, you this and that, why you do this. But I try not to judge. But if you already been through hell and you're already halfway through what you were inclining yourself to be, then what's the point of you throwing in the towel now all of a sudden? Like, why do you want to throw in the towel? Huh? Like, isn't it now a better time than ever to survive, to, tough it out, hold on, and, go through the end? And it's difficult. I would understand because that's exactly where I am right now through my situation. It's a difficult one because I want my wife and daughter here, and I'm really not thinking about in terms of me being economically ready for it. Like, am I economically ready for them to be here? I don't even have a vehicle. Like, truth be told, I don't even have a car. I don't even own a house, but I just want them here. Like, my situation in DR was a little bit more different than what I have here. In DR, I do have a house. I did have a vehicle, sold it. Uh, so in those two areas, there was some stability, but economically speaking, it was a crapshoot. Like every day, you got something new, and you didn't have the economy to respond in kind to whatever life threw you. So you had to roll with the punches and ask for loans, basically. And that was our MO for quite some time until things got a little better, but not quite. And like you start to realize, or not realize, but you start remembering stuff. And there's a part of you that goes like, "What is this all really worth it?" Like you trying to get them here, like you already got a house, you already, but yeah, what job am I gonna get over there? It's not like there's job opportunities there like there is here. Like you try to just evaluate the situation and try to do it, see it everything humanly possible because I'm doing everything that I can humanly do, and sometimes you get desperate and you just want to do like you just want to, I don't know, you just want to get a hold of things and like try to grab the situation and force it into your will. And there's certain situations that you just can't. It's out of your control. Like, for example, I can't make the government speed up the process for my wife's and daughter's paperwork. I can't make them see my way and whatnot. I can't. I just can't. So, what can I do? What can I do? So, all I can do right now is just. This is going to sound weird for those of you who are not believers, but I am a believer, and that's part of the name of the podcast. Ski Introvert Believer is rest in God. And now I need to expand on that because some people are going to hear this and they're going to be like, oh, so you're just going to be a lazy, you know what? You're just going to be a bum and not do anything. No, that's not what it means. What resting in God means is this, is that you have done everything humanly possible in your hands to try to make a situation better, and it doesn't work. None of it does. And you're like desperate to see, man, what can I do? I'm like, I'm trying here the best I can to have this situation remedied, and nothing that I do is working. I have done everything humanly possible within my means to do what has to be done, and it still is not being done. So what am I gonna do? What am I gonna what is my purpose in this thing? Like, what am I gonna do? Then for me, as a believer, that's where the resting comes in. Now let me unpack a little bit the resting part. Like, there's a verse in the Bible that says that God will renew our strength like the eagles. I'm paraphrasing, not saying it textually or verbatim. I'm just paraphrasing. Now, we need to unpack that, like the renewing the strength of the eagles. That's part of the resting process. The story is that eagles live to be 80, but once they hit the 40 mark, which is half of their lifespan, they have to retreat because their feathers are weary, their claws already gnashed out, claws and beaks are gnashed out. They're not effective as they were. So the first thing that they do is they pluck their feathers, they gnash their beaks and claws. So they're this barren, defenseless thing. Before all that, they go fly to the highest mountain where little to no animal can go up there to do this process that I just mentioned. Pluck their feathers, gnash their beaks and claws to a rock where they just numb out the beak and have no claws. Why would they endure such suffering? Well, because new feathers, a new beak, and new claws will grow, and they just wait out the process for the new feathers, beak, and claws to grow out. Once they have new everything, basically, they're up and running, and they have a second win on life. They have a second opportunity to go after it, and sometimes the waiting, it's not so much that you have to wait for God to do something, outside of you. The waiting is more, it has to do more with God dealing with you, the individual, the person. That there's stuff that are you that are just weary, that are just wasted, that you can't do anymore, so you need a renewal. But two two objects uh two objects cannot occupy the same space, you know? So one has to be removed in order for the other to be there, occupy its place. So the old stuff, the stuff that is no good anymore, has to be removed out of the way in order to give way to something new, something that's going to be useful in order for you to get that second win in life. And it really doesn't matter at what point in your life you are. The important thing is that you realize this, that you realize that you have to submit your life to God, put yourself in His hands, and trust the process. In the meantime, you keep doing you, because people listen to this and they think like this is God asking them to change. Like, if we were able to change on ourselves, then there's no point of the sacrifice Jesus had to do. I'm a Christian, so I believe in Jesus Christ. There was no point for Jesus dying then, because if we can just change by ourselves, then great. I mean, then why did He have to come then? And there was no point of Him coming, because then we can just change ourselves and la 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 la. But I believe that the real change an individual, is something that is dealing with the Holy Spirit or God directly to your spirit. And he has to deal with that kind of stuff inside of you and let you know what's good. And some people are more quicker about it. Some people are not that quick about it. In my case, I'm dumb. I'm pig-headed. I'm very pig-headed. My wife can tell you, and also other close family relatives can tell you, and friends of mine. I'm pig-headed. So the point has not yet been across to me. Yet I can talk about this because I can admit my errors and my ways. Now the thing is that I don't like the situation that I'm currently in because why? Human nature. We all want our way. We all want to get our stuff. And in my case, I want my wife and daughter here. But maybe God is not allowing things to happen because, as I said before, I'm not in the best position to have a wife and kid here. And I'm scared about the future. I'm scared about what's coming down the pike. I'm scared of things that are happening now, of decisions that I haven't made, of decisions that I am making, of whatever. There's a plethora of things that I want to change, but at this point in this juncture in my life, there's very little to nothing that I can do about it. So, am I just going to throw my hands in the air and just take it? Or I'm going to trust God to see if He can open doors for me. Now, this is a very important point that I'm making here. And I'm sorry that this is sounding like a Christian podcast, but I'm a Christian, so you're going to have to take my my opinion. I mean, you're listening to this. So the masochist here is you. So, I mean, you're listening to this. That's on you. So, going back to it, if you are truly trusting God, like if you really, really trust God for what He's saying, for what He wants in your life, if you really trust God, then what are you willing to wait on? Like this video, I can't show it to all of you. You know, it's like a TikTok, you know, like or a story, Instagram story, where this dude is gonna do like a 360 dunk, kind of cheating because it's right on his height, and he misses. Like he's doing this in his backyard, and the caption says "My plans," and he misses, and he throws the ball way far away. Then he opens that door where the rim was for the basketball, and he reveals that in the way in the back there is another rim or a basketball net, and the ball just hits nothing but net on way in the back. Then the caption says God's plan. And I believe that's kind of is when you submit your life to God. When you submit to Him, if you really submit to Him, whatever your plans are, God will make the way in order for it to be His will, not yours. So, and His plan will exceedingly be better than what you want. It's just that you have to be willing to wait for the process to be over. Don't call it quits just because it doesn't seem that it's going your way. Don't call it quits just because it doesn't seem that it's not the result that you are wanting. Because maybe it's not the result that you want. It's maybe something God got something bigger for you. Maybe God's got something better for you. Maybe God got something that is above and beyond that you wanted or you thought that you wanted. Because we have a very limited view on things, and God sees the whole picture. He sees the whole spectrum of it. So if you want to just jump into conclusions and want to do your thing, God is like, yeah, that's good. That's all fine and everything, but that's a very limited view of what's going on. I got something better for you. And you're like, no, 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 I'm good. So maybe the process of being prepared, like I was telling the story about the eagle, is not so much for you, get your second win. Maybe it's because there's some stuff to do and you need to be ready. So he has to prepare you and set you apart for you to enter to that rest. And that's something that also the Bible says, that you have to enter into the rest of God. And you have to fight to enter the rest of God. And it's a fight. And it's literally a fight. Why? Because you are used to having your way. You are used to things going the way you want them to. And resting and depending on God is something unnatural to us because we want things done and we want them done 2 weeks ago, a month ago, and we want it done our way, our particular way. And God ain't about that. Why? Because his plans are not our plans. His thoughts are not our thoughts. And he wants something better for us. He wants something that is more abundantly beautiful and better than what we think. And we got to give God the trust that he deserves. We got to give him the opportunity to deliver on the chance to amaze us. But the things with God it doesn't happen when we want to. Now, it could happen suddenly or it can take its time. But when it does, it's gonna be so obviously him because you won't have any power over it. You won't have any say over it. You won't have any thing to do about it. It's just gonna happen. So you just have to trust God, trust the process, and rest in him. You do what you gotta do. Like you do your part. I'm not saying like, oh, I'm gonna quit everything. I'm just gonna sit at home, do nothing. No, no, no. You do your thing. You work, you provide, do everything that you do. But the bigger thing, the big thing, the thing that you have no control over, surrender that to God. Surrender that to his hands. Surrender that to him and let him handle it. Pray over it. Talk to him. Open those lines of communication with heaven and let him know, like, man, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what to do in this case, but you're above, man. You know more than I do. I'm the dummy. I don't know what to do. I really don't know what to do. So you talk to me. You tell me, like, let me be at peace and get out of your way and not mess around and destroy things that you have meticulously created for me. So let me get out of your way and let you handle business, because this part is way above my pay grade and I do not have the mental, spiritual fortitude to deal with this. So whatever you can handle, good. You've recognized that you can't handle it. Let that in God's hands, and that area, specific area, rest it on it. Don't rest on everything, because I'm not asking you to be, a lazy person and do nothing. What I'm saying is that thing that is above your pay grade, that thing that you can't do, you obviously cannot do, not in this lifetime. You got to surrender that to God. You got to let that go. You got to let that go, and do not touch it. Do not go back to it. Do not look at it, and just be like, I did my part. I did everything that I could. I did everything that I can humanly do, and I'm just going to let that in God's hands and going to let him be God, and I'm just going to stay out of his way and not be a fool and not try to be a stupid idiot trying to help God like he needs help. Okay, because he don't need a tag team partner. He just is. I'm just a recipient, and so as a recipient, shut up, take your cross, and follow him. That's basically it. Wow, I preached today. So I guess I was preaching. Okay. So yeah, this will be the 7th episode of the Husky Introvert Believer. So hope all y'all enjoyed it. Remember, T Public Store, that's the website where we sell all the t-shirts, stickers, cases, pillows, whatever you want with my designs. The link will be in the description of the podcast. HuskyBiblePod.com is our website where you can check this and the other podcast that we do, Husky Bible. And we're trying to expand. We're trying to do this the right way. So thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. And thank you for being part of this. And also remember that the T Public Store, there's a good chance there's gonna be like a 20 or 35, 30% off something. You always get something. I mean, even I've been like those old commercials from the hair club for men. I also remember almost all client. I purchased some stuff there for me as well. Even some of my stuff, yes, because I mean, you gotta help out. So, anyways, thank you for listening to this episode 7 of the Husky Introvert Believer, and I will see you, or we will listen to each other soon. Take care, people. Bye.